Hi, it's Natasha.
And Khalil.
And we are the co-hosts of
WokeNFree.
Thank you for tuning in to our 192nd episode of WokeNFree. If you've been tuning in every week for WokeNFree Wednesday, you know that WokeNFree is all about being real and honest with each other and you. We talk about everything and anything important to us, you, the world, and nothing is off the table. This week, we are asking the following. What's all the hype surrounding NFTs? If you don't know what that's about, you're in store for an entertaining conversation.
Yes, you are.
But before we dive deep into the subject, a couple of things to go over. First, have you downloaded this episode on WokeNFree.com through the Podbean app? If not, please do, because A, that's how you show your number one support for the show, as well as how you join the conversation. And that's really critical, everyone, because we want to hear from you every single week. New content, new opportunities to have an engaging, entertaining, and educational conversation. So make sure you do that. Now, if you happen to be unable to download the app because of whatever device you're listening to doesn't allow that, and or you're not in a position to do that, we just ask that you go to WokeNFree.com on the Listen tab and pick your platform of choice that you're going to make sure that you're subscribed and followed to when it comes to WokeNFree. So whether that's on iTunes or TuneIn or Stitcher or Google Play, make sure you're subscribed and following our YouTube channel, checking out our content on SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Pandora. I mean, we're everywhere. It is a WokeNFree world for sure. So make sure you do that. Now, of course, we also want to encourage you to subscribe to the show via email, which you can do on WokeNFree.com, and you can encourage your friends and family to do the same so that every single week you'll get notified of our new WokeNFree Wednesday episodes. On social media, feel free to holler on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn at WokeNFree. And then, of course, if you have 90 seconds, you can smile. You can send a loved one a text message that says hello. You can also give us a review so that you're telling us how this show is feeding to you, because we want to make sure that it's feeding you and giving you what you want every single week. With that, I'm going to kick it to you, Khalil.
I'd like to say that you enjoy this portion more than we enjoy it.
Talking smack already, huh?
Just to kick it off correctly, before we start the conversation, we share a little bit about us. Last time we asked, would you rather have a pet unicorn or have a pet dragon? This week we're asking, would you rather fight the superhero Captain America or fight the villain Joker?
Oh, that's really fascinating of a question, because, I mean, it's pointless and weird, so that's fascinating.
Yeah.
But I would say, probably Captain America, because Joker seems really sadistic, and I feel like there's no rhyme or reason to where he will go as a villain, versus Captain America seems more restrained in the sense that he is going to still try to not like cut your head off, versus I feel like Joker would get a little extreme or could get a little bit dark. It depends on what Joker you're going with. If you're going with the Heath Ledger Joker, then yeah, all bets are off.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I would want to fight Captain America. How about you?
Now, I think most Jokers are actually very devious, so I wouldn't want to fight any Joker, regardless of which one it is, because they have no playbook. They don't play by the rules.
True.
They're going to do sneaky stuff. I think they're going to defeat me. Now, Captain America, he plays by the books. I think he's going to use brute strength and no brains. So that's the guy I'd rather fight.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think of Captain America. I think of Bonehead.
Okay. Oh, wow. Khalil.
But I mean, no, just like kind of brute force. Not as much as the Hulk, but kind of like we're just going to fight.
You really want people to come for you. Okay.
No, but the Hulk doesn't have a brain.
I would not even.
Oh, okay.
Because in the new Hulk, he's a scientist and he's a
not
genius.
That new. I mean, not that
yeah,
one.
So, and that's the one of relevance. So that's why.
I mean, I'm talking about.
We're stumbling down a really weird path now.
No, but we know that Joker. I mean, technically,
but Joker is sadistic. He's very.
But technically, if you look at, I to say technically, but either way, if you look up his powers would be like super intellect too.
Yeah.
And Captain America does not have that as a superpower.
We're going to keep moving on.
But he is a strategic fighter, so it's kind of funny. If you actually fight with Captain America, he may beat you in a direct fight, but I wouldn't fight directly with him.
I think for your safety, it's just best to
move on. You say move on, but I agreed with you. So we both were fighting the captain.
Yes.
Just like Cap.
Alrighty.
Exactly.
So, out of the gate, let's hit it up. What are NFTs, Khalil?
All right. I'm just going to give you nice summary, but NFT stands for non-fungible token, if you didn't know. But I like to think of it like getting a certificate for digital media. And digital media could be in the form of a video, it could be a picture, it could be a text message, it could be something from social media like a post. So what you do is these NFTs are sort of like a certificate that then gets stored in this public ledger. And that ledger just tells everybody that you own that specific form of media. So NFTs, what's interesting about them, they're only valid on a particular network. So there could be multiple NFTs for the same media when, like I said, that was a picture, video, something of that sort. And it can exist at the same time on different networks. So
break that out. Like, what do you mean by networks? Because we're talking about blockchain here, right?
Yeah. It goes down to this does have to do with cryptographic
and cryptocurrency stuff, right?
Yeah. So the thing is, so for cryptocurrency, sort of like people probably heard of Bitcoin. Go back to our old episodes if you haven't. But those are all separate networks, and those networks are based off the blockchain technology. And the blockchain technology just is basically it's a ledger where transactions are stored, and multiple computers verify that those transactions are valid at a certain time. So you'll have, let's say, like you'll have 10. I'm making this a really small number, but you'll have 10 PCs that are saying that, all right, at this certain point in time, this transaction occurred between these two individuals that are not known. They're just like numbers or an ID. And that's going to be stored publicly where anybody can just jump in and see, all right, that transaction occurred at this date and this is the number. So the NFT works similar to that. The NFT gets stored on the blockchain, the public ledger, and then people can see, oh, this is the transaction that happened. But again, these are different networks, meaning one group of 10 PCs that record a transaction is not the same as another network that might say, I'm a different network, but your network is going to be called different. So one might be called like Cheese for Joan. But another one might just be called Cat and Mouse, whatever. You can make any name up you want. But those are different. They're separate networks, and they hold separate information about separate transactions. And
the media or the things being traded also have a separate value system.
Yeah, it's all separate. Yeah, so you can have both of you can have NFTs, like me and you. So me and you can start an NFT. On the
Joan has cheese, and you have yours on the cat and mouse, and they're two separate things.
Two separate things.
Two separate value
so
systems.
But here's what's cool: we can both create an NFT on both of our networks, and they both point to the same piece of art. So let's say we just want to go back to the first social media post ever made. Yeah. We both searched and found that. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a network. We're going to cryptographically tie our NFT to whatever that picture is. And we're going to store that whatever the algorithm is to create that number on our public ledger that anybody can read. And then say this NFT says that it belongs to whoever, so-and-so, whatever ID you want to say.
And it's a different ledger per network, right?
Yeah, it's completely different. They're not connected in any way.
And on your ledger, it could be worth $1 million, and on mine, it could be worth $10. The same
now,
NFT
the worth is not intrinsic, so
to the same piece of art.
So technically, all NFTs are worth nothing purely.
Yes.
The only worth comes in when I want to trade that NFT.
And then that's where,
let's say me and you create an NFT, we can say...
into the same network, right?
Alright, we better be in the same network or else we're not getting anywhere. So, but technically it's just one then. Alright, so I create an NFT and there's no value to it. I created it, whatever. It's based on a picture of my cat. Yeah. And then what I say is, alright, I'll sell this to anybody and I put it up for auction. You can bid on that. Okay. And I give you that NFT and then
like a copyright to
and then we make a new transaction that says you are now the new owner of this NFT. Yeah. And that's given to you
in this one network in that one ledger.
Yeah. So now you paid whatever amount of money you did for it, $10. And then you say, hey, you know what? I want to sell it again. So you can do what I did. You put it up for auction. People say, I want to pay $30 for it because, she paid $10 for it, but I want to have the rights to that. And then whatever rights mean.
Trade it to. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And it's documented. Every new transaction, every new owner
that's all documented. Yeah. So, as long as the network runs that document.
So you can't have more than one owner for that same NFT on the ledger.
No, you can't. No, it's impossible. Yeah. Okay. There's only one ID that's given out that says it's tied to this person.
But the kicker here is that NFT is pointing to something that is accessible outside of this network, right? So it
sometimes
it could be, right? Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, let's say, all right, a good example is, let's say you wrote like a manuscript or something, and you want to sell off this manuscript. Yeah. Technically, there's only one file. So what you can do is you can put this file up for auction. Yeah. And what you say is, whoever wins, I'll send them the file directly. And we're not going to go into like.
But you still technically retain a copy of that file.
Yeah. If you don't delete it, you technically still have a copy of it. Yeah.
And you could resell it.
Yep, you could.
Interesting. So, okay.
Yeah, so that's
so
an interesting part.
the origination is what's the issue with these NFTs, right?
Yes, it is.
Because we're talking about digital properties. And so it's like, how do you define original when we're talking about a digital footprint here, right?
Yeah, it's nothing in the digital world is truly original, because things have to be copied over to the computer.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's not technically original. It's a copy. Everything is a copy.
You have one Mona Lisa painting, and any other copies are copies, but there was only one Mona Lisa. But
there's only one original.
We could only do copies of a digital print.
Yeah, all Mona digital Lisa. Is copies. Yeah.
And then with the NFTs, what we're saying is someone could take one, sell it, resell it, sell it, and again.
And remember, the NFT is funny. The NFT has nothing to do with the actual piece of work or art.
Medium, yeah.
The NFT is just that. It's just an ID that says that, look, I own this art, but wherever that art is stored, that's irrespective of my ownership. That's what's funny. It doesn't talk about where the art is stored, how it's stored.
So you just own a digital version of this.
Not even. You're literally, so it's like, you can get a copy, but technically all you get is an ID that says you own it. So it's a certificate. You're getting a certificate that says ownership. You own this art.
Even though you don't actually have to own the actual piece of the media.
No, you don't have to.
Interesting.
But I further on, I'll go into some more like intricacies of that.
Okay.
But for now, what's all the hype surrounding NFTs?
Well, I think we started that conversation by talking about this kind of intrinsic, it seems like, flaw within the system of ownership here, because, so on The Verge, and guys, if you're looking for everyone listening, the links that we're going to be referring to and utilizing as resources are all going to be available in the episode on WokeNFree.com. So make sure you check it out if this is, tickling your goose, because I find this conversation to be,
it should tickle your goose.
Out of this world.
I do too. I'm flabbergasted by it.
It is. It's truly interesting.
It's amazing to me.
On The Verge, the article that I found said the following, in the boring sense, technical sense, that every NFT is a unique token on the blockchain, but while it could be like a Van Gogh, when there's only one definitive actual version, it could also be like a trading card where there's 50 or hundreds of numbered copies of the same artwork. And so who would pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for what basically amounts to a trading card? Well, that's part of what NFTs make it so messy, essentially. So some people treat them like the future of fine art, collecting them, and some people treat them like Pokemon cards, where they're accessible to normal people, but also a playground for the mega rich. So, in the article, they make a reference to someone sold an NFT video clip, which are just clips from a video that you can watch on YouTube anytime you want for up to $20,000. And then he also sold NFTs of a Pokemon card. And it's like, who would pay $20,000 for a video clip of, a particular person? And the article goes on to essentially call that person a fool. Ultimately, I think that's, why are people doing this? I think maybe is speaking to, maybe they believe this is the future. Like the line I shared before about this is maybe the future of fine art trading. Maybe people think this is, these digital, certificates to mediums is something that's going to be worth something in the future, even though there's so many copies of what is already available. So it pretty much, it befounds me. I'm not quite sure where we're going with it, but it seems to be, quite astronomical how much people are paying. And I do want to confirm the money that people are paying, this is still in the cryptocurrency world, right? This is not
necessarily, because I think I'm sorry, I don't remember the name, but it was it was like an art company that sells lots of arts, usually in person. They have auctions and stuff. I don't remember the name. It was like a C or something, but they let you buy with regular cash. So
non-cryptocurrency.
Non-cryptocurrency, right? Yeah. I don't know if it was the US dollar or
NFTs,
something.
they were allowed that.
Yeah, they were buying an NFT.
So on
a normal art forum.
Of cryptocurrency as well.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
So you can buy, usually it is in cryptocurrency, but you can buy in.
And was that, do you remember if that was sold in like a high number? It wasn't, we're not talking about $10, right?
It was the one that was the most sold. I think it was Christie's actually, the art.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was the Christie's, and they auction off physical art.
Oh, wow.
So this one was like, no, it was more than that. It was like 10 million or something. At least, if not 30 million.
All right.
So this is not just for the crypto world, even though it's using the crypto technology.
You're now listening to WokeNFree.
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 A podcast that gets real and honest.
Okay,
yeah, that's what's interesting.
What do you think is the reason, like, driving all the hype behind this then?
I think the hype is easy because what I've seen, at least so far, is it seems like that buying and selling the NFT, you can actually use it as like an investment. You can purchase an NFT for such and such amount, and then you can make maybe 10 times extra. So it's almost like an investment. So you say, hey, and I don't know, like, I can't talk about the risk and stuff. To me, it's like ultra risky, but you say that, I can invest whatever amount of money and make 100 times more. Why wouldn't I buy this thing? Even if I don't really understand it, I don't understand the technology behind it, because I believe some of these people involved in it are just saying, I'm just trying to increase my money, right? Off of nothing. I didn't do anything. I bought this, I waited a week, and then I sold it and made money.
So similar to stock market kind of.
Yeah.
Then. Okay.
But I think, I don't know when, but cryptocurrency hit one of those phases too where people decided, it's investable. So now let's buy it.
So
and that's what's boosted it up.
Stage now.
Yeah, I think it's of like not hyperinflation, but the price of NFTs are kind of just
elevator.
Yeah, they're a lot more than me and you would value it at,
okay.
So yeah, it's very interesting. Now, we should go over what are the pros and cons with NFTs.
All right. So on Arts Hub, a website that I came across, and again, all links will be available on WokeNFree.com. So make sure you check it out. First category that they dived into with this is market value or devaluing. A pro they listed was the upside of blockchain and cryptocurrencies is that it's a decentralized marketplace and that the buyers are largely independent of the traditional art market as we know it. And it means that there's a potential market for your work outside of cliquish circles of art dealers and art advisors. Now, the con they listed was that the crypto economy thrives on utopian rhetoric about freedom and democratization. So in reality, it's for all. Blockchain fluent artist and developer Adi Wagenchent says that the underlying technology is complicated for a layperson to understand, let alone use on their own. So that's interesting. Then they go on to talk about environment. So pro, it's the work is usually done from home. So while blowing out energy consumption, the flip side is that the travel costs and the office rental are reduced in terms of the green footprint. But however, many warned that, that the platform on which NFTs sit, the Ethereum blockchain, is outdated and unable to adapt to the increasing volume adopting the medium.
Okay.
And also, you've mentioned to me before, as we talked about this, that the energy consumption required to mine Bitcoin and Ethereum is increasingly challenging. Some reports liken it to the annual carbon emissions of Adoria, New Zealand or Ecuador, and is on the track at this growth rate to parallel London's energy consumption. So wow, that's challenging that it's using so much energy for this technology and the maintenance of this technology and the expansion of it. So that's problematic.
Definitely.
That's not it's like a greenhouse issue, right? Or a green
It's an environmental issue. Definitely. Yeah.
The other thing they talked about is authentication, ownership, and provenance, which we were talking about earlier in the episode, which is, they list a pro is that the blockchain is super safe because blockchain is a network rather than a central authority. You can trust the system without having to trust any individual contributor. Once data is on the chain, it cannot be deleted. This means that NFTs scarcity and provenance are secure, which in turn amplifies demand, which in turn builds a more confident, more robust market than used to seeing for digital artworks without blockchain backing.
I would like to just add, that's as long as everybody on the network is honest. At least 51%. Because if you have enough people that say that this transaction is valid, even though it's not, if you have 51% that's saying that, then it would be deemed valid. Okay. Yeah, if you had enough bad actors, basically.
Nice.
Yeah, it is possible to mess this up. Yes.
Gotcha. And then a con they mention is that others have suggested that theft is a growing concern with NFTs. And over the past few months, stories have emerged of artists discovering their work in online marketplaces where they're sold as NFTs without their consent, which is interesting.
Okay.
And, the problem is that someone can take a JPEG and throw it up on a different marketplace with different token attached to it and sell it. And there's no quote unquote original.
It's true.
Which is interesting.
There is none.
Then they also go into like smart contracts and then permanence and conservation. With that permanence and conservation, there's two positives built into NFTs. One is that the blockchain, which it sits on, contains the work's complete provenance and copyright details with the potential to add a wide range of additional information. It will always sit there in the code and not be separated from the NFT artwork. And then ultimately, though, the con they talk about here
that depends on the NFT, though. Okay. How that says it's because in another article I read about, technically the NFT and the artwork are on they're on separate networks or separate platforms. So meaning, you can think of an NFT almost like when you go to the library back in the days, I guess. Yeah. And you picked out like the cards that said this book is held at certain
reference card.
Yeah. So you pick up a card, that card is the NFT. Then the book where it actually lies is separate though. Yeah. So all those, the bookshelves where books were stored, but they are tied together because that reference card tells you where to find the book. Yeah. But technically, let's say if half of the library was burned down, that book doesn't exist anymore, but the NFT still exists. Yeah. And it says where that book should be, but it's not there.
Interesting. And then also...
but the NFT still exists. Yeah, it can exist for a long time. And if you lose your password
to be able to access your NFT, you lose your NFT, right? Is it similar to the other things? Like, isn't there an issue with blockchain that if you lose access to your account or whatever, that you lose all that money, like cryptocurrency situation?
So I think the NFT is a little bit different because the NFT is the actual, I guess you can't lose the access to whatever the
network you're a part of, right?
Not the network necessarily, but I don't want to call it the wallet. See, I don't know the correct term, but the NFT, this token points to a certain ownership. So if you lose that ownership, I don't know if it's called a wallet. I know in cryptocurrency you have wallets, but it's something similar to a wallet. If you learn access to that, then technically, you don't
lose the NFT then.
Yeah, but only if you lose access to that wallet though.
Okay.
Or I don't know if it's called the wallet though. Don't take me on that.
Yeah. Okay. And then a con they mentioned was, in most descriptions of NFTs, it's a crucial fact that what lives on the blockchain is data describing and tracking the asset, not necessarily the asset itself, which you talked about. Remember, the token is basically just an inventory number. It links to an artwork, but the vast majority of cases, the artwork is hosted off chain somewhere else.
Definitely.
So it's, there's, I think looking through this, there's just a lot. This is a new technology. This is a new place to be in. I think it's, if it's something that's interesting to you and it's something that you're curious about, I would recommend looking into it. From an investor's perspective, I definitely don't necessarily have a perspective to share on that. I think, to be honest, this seems like I would even need to dive a bit deep more, but anything it seems like the numbers that we're talking about are like, we're talking about big players here. We're not talking about investing $10.
Which is unfair because that's not true.
So there's smaller.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Because people are trading like NBA videos too. Is for example
that are available on YouTube, but
$10. Yeah.
But okay.
But I mean, which is in less than hundreds of dollars though.
Okay.
So it's not.
I think.
Big player.
For me, I'm challenged by the system because if there's an opportunity to access the media that's attached to this NFT for free, that's where I'm like, well, why am I paying for something? Like, I can go and find that original tweet, or I can go and find that video on a video platform. So why am I paying for it in cryptocurrency?
Don't you feel happy to say that you're the true owner of that?
The one that's sitting for free outside?
Yeah, everybody can, so it's kind of like everybody can, you know what it's like though? I mean, this is a bad comparison, but imagine if you own a house. Like, everybody can see your house. Yeah. But you can't copy it.
But people are trying to put claim or ownership.
I know, but the problem is anybody can go inside it and do anything with it.
So anyone can visit your house, but not everyone can own your house.
Yeah, I know, So it was a bad example.
No, it is a good example in the sense that with the NFTs, it seems like as if people are putting their name on the title. And it's like, but how could you title it when this is owned by someone else?
The best example is like the stars that people name.
Well, like similar to that, yeah.
Anybody can name a star, but it doesn't really matter.
You own that star.
You truly don't. Yeah. Anybody can name it. Anybody can see it. Anybody can do anything with it. So
that's where I'm struggling with this. But again, I don't want to be closed off to it. So I I would say let's learn more. Let's look into this more. You know?
I'm going to provide you a pro.
Okay.
My last pro will actually speak to you, and maybe that'll be something that will make you feel better about.
Okay. All right.
But let's see. The first pro that I came up with, yeah, I mean, we talked about it. It's the way to prove you own a new piece of digital art. So if something new comes out that maybe it's not all over the internet, maybe it's, I don't know, it's on like an exclusive network, you can get that capture and now you can say, hey, I own that. And nobody reproduces
like something on Apple TV or something, because not everyone has access to Apple TV.
Yeah,
right?
It could be like that. Yeah.
Okay.
As long as the copyright is all, in order.
And accurate.
Yeah, with that. But here's a good pro, which I definitely like about it. It's a way to support digital artists.
That I love.
Because
love that.
how much arts are they making? And there's no real way to say who owns this. Or they just make copies and they give it to you. And it's like, well, you have it, but there's nothing that says that this is yours.
Because I love to make art and I make our social media art. So maybe I should make art and put them on NFTs.
Exactly. You can. There's, you can do your research on which is the best network, but I like it. It's definitely a good thing. And then we talked about it before. You can make money from flipping the NFT. You could sell it to these other. We don't want to say there's always a bigger fool.
My computer. Stop it.
We never want to say that. No, we would never say that. But it's true that but one true statement is the NFT has no intrinsic value, and that is a true statement. No, that is only a fact that I state. That's all I'm stating. But I know I'm in the pros though, so I shouldn't state that. Yeah. But here's the one that let's see what you think about this. Copyright holders, they can give NFT purchasers limited use rights. So it's kind of like, let's say if I come out with a video and no one's supposed to use this in any way they want, but the NFT owner that they purchased the NFT, I'll let them use the video any way they want. They can put it on their social media. They can put it wherever else and they can make money off of it.
More rights to it. That to me is a pro. Yeah.
And technically you can make NFT with anything. So it could even be for music. Like I can give you a beat if I wanted to and say, you own that beat now.
That's interesting. Okay.
Now the cons, they're going to definitely, so you mentioned that, the energy is definitely going up. It's wasted from these powerful servers that's running the blockchain that holds the NFTs. And the secondary of that is they're buying up all the graphics card that the PC gamers like to use. And that's not cool. So now there's a graphics card shortage. And that also adds to the problem that we're going through right now with the global chip shortage, because there's just a lot of computer chips that aren't available right now. Like all those industries, most electronic industries are suffering because of that. So cryptocurrency and NFTs aren't really helping with that. Okay. Because they're trying to buy up all these graphic cards that are really powerful. And just like we've said before, most media can be reproduced, but actually perfectly by anyone forever. So it's not like the Mona Lisa. You don't get the exact pixel or paint drop by paint drop copy. You can't get that. But of an NFT, you get a perfect copy of the original. Usually, sometimes, like you said, I mentioned there could be one file that I gave to you, and hopefully I deleted my original file as the artist.
Hopefully.
So that's one way where it's okay. Now. You talked about that, the fact that the digital asset, it's not actually stored on the blockchain. Yeah. So if the copy of the file exists and is deleted, the asset could actually be lost forever. So that to me is a problem. That's interesting. Where it's gone now. Hopefully somebody else saved it. And even though I'm the owner, I got to ask them for a copy. That's very interesting. A thing to think about is these networks. If if the network that you own the NFT on, if it goes defunct, that NFT is worthless. It's gone.
Oh man, that's
so crazy. The network shuts down. No one wants to run it. There's no money in it. Dear. What do? I mean, you have an ID, but there's no way to validate it because there is no network to validate with.
Oh man,
it's a done deal. That can happen. Just wait and see. And like you were mentioning before, anyone can make these NFTs, and what they've been doing is pretending they're the original artist and selling the NFTs off of like it was their work. So that's not good. Wow. They're ripping people off. And I think in general, it makes easier for people to infringe on copyrighted works and earn money from the act. It's just like a simple method of doing that.
No, that is a huge con.
It gives a great avenue for that. It's like really easy now. All right. Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? It's scenario time, guys. Scenario 1. Lionel loves collecting baseball cards and wishes there was a way to collect his favorite baseball moments. He found a website that trades NFTs for everything surrounding baseball. Should Lionel spend his money on this website?
Great question. So I would say Lionel should probably look into the viability of this platform and make sure that it is up and up. Make sure that it is not currently going defunct, at least for now, so that if he does decide to invest, that his money is not lost into the ether. And then, I guess, with any purchase, you have to just kind of do those calculations of like, do you need this versus do you want this? And then what is the ultimate gain here? Is it just to indulge in his hobby? Does he think this is an investable type of purchase? There's times we spend money for fun and there's times that we spend money for future building. And so I would hope that this would be maybe a little bit of both. And so possibly, I guess, but I think more research is needed here.
All right. That's definitely good advice.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's into baseball cards. I say he could spend his money. Because to me, baseball cards are baseball cards. If you like them, you like them.
Yeah.
And now this is like an extension of that. This is almost like the Harry Potter, the moving pictures. Now you can get videos and you say, hey, this is my video and hopefully this has some copyright things where you can share it and it gives you some limited rights to do stuff with it. Gotcha. I think, he should look into how he can use this. If he could post this on social media, then it's fun. If he only could look at himself, then maybe it's not as fun. So I guess, look into the details of the website, but I think this looks like a green light to me. He should be able to go on this website, buy some baseball stuff.
All right.
Scenario 2. Shavana earned some extra money last year and wants to put it towards a good cause. Her friend told her about an NFT auction of her favorite celebrity's first social media message ever. This made Shavana almost pass out. Should she spend her money on this NFT or donate the extra money towards a charity?
Interesting. Okay, so ultimately, if she has extra money and she wants to do some good in the world with it, should she use it for this NFT auction that doesn't necessarily seem like the NFT is attached to any charitable giving or donation, or use money towards an external an actual charity rather here?
Yeah.
I would say because the intentionality in the spending of the money is for good, then despite it being like super adorable to want to have the text of your favorite celebrities, ultimately, if you want to do good with the money, then you probably should give it to a charity that's going to do good with the money. So that's what I would vote for that.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. If you're trying to actually do good, I don't see how the NFT is any good. So put it towards a charity.
In this scenario, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a gripe. I have a gripe with how cryptocurrency is run currently. If it was run off of all renewable energy, then I would shut my mouth. I wouldn't have anything to say about it. But currently, we're not able to say that. Yeah, once you can say it's all renewable energy that's using this fun stuff that we're doing with crypto, then I'd be fine. But that's not where we're at right now.
WokeNFree, that is your challenge. Someone find a way to do blockchain technology in an environmentally friendly way. There you go. You're tasked nice. with a wonderful mission. Yes. May the force be with you.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. Scenario 3. Ashima is arguing with Trent over who owns the picture they both just took of a supersonic jet passing overhead. This was the first ever sighting for this particular model, so they are both very passionate about their standing. Ashima is threatening Trent that she will register her photo with a regional art company to prove her ownership. Should Trent worry that he will not own the first picture of this legendary jet?
So just to be clear, they both took a picture of this incident happening at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So technically, they both have the rights to the picture they took themselves.
Yeah.
Whether who took the first picture is going to be on the dating of the pictures, because when you take a picture, isn't that file dated and time stamped?
Yeah, it is.
So you would have to do the comparison. You'd have to kind of do the comparison to see who technically, like, which millisecond it came in first. And ultimately, I think seems like this is going to ruin their friendship. So I would move on and have some fries and like have a milkshake and just call it quits, guys. I mean, you don't want to ruin friendships over not madness.
Yeah, but what if this could be $5,000?
And $5,000 is worth more than your good friend?
Well, what if it's 20,000? I mean, I don't know what the price is.
I mean, for me, what's the price of your friendship? I guess. Good friends, so like when I have for the ones I have, they are priceless. So there's no amount of money that would be worth me destroying my friendship over. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about and I don't want to say foolishness, but
yeah, don't say it because you could say it's foolishness.
It's
but
not. It's absolutely not.
They could be $1 million richer too. And who's the fool now?
Yeah. Well, there you go. But what I would say is ultimately, if they really are curious, then they would have to look on the file to identify who had it first. But it might be like, so I don't want to go like. So there's some concepts in law that we learn, like real estate, where it's like first in time, first in right. So it's like, if she goes and she registers with this company, if that like puts her on the mark as like the person who first did it, then maybe that's what she should do. To me, it just seems so contentious. So I'm just like, oh gosh, why are we even here? Yeah. I just wish we were just having a milkshake instead.
Yeah, this is hard because this is a gray area of law technically. Yeah, the NFTs, it's not regulated yet. So yeah, it's who actually does own the copyright. Like you said, the first person to take it owns it. But this is an issue with technology. So technically, we can both take a picture at the same time. They could say the same date and second, but our times aren't synced to the actual time that. Let's say the most accurate clock is synced to the atomic clock, and I forgot where it is. Okay. So if they're not synced up, technically my time might be reading faster than yours, so my time is inaccurate. Okay. So how are we using our timestamps? Would it be determinable? No, it's impossible. Okay. It's impossible to actually determine the actual true date of your. You can get kind of close, but there's plus or minus like milliseconds. Okay. So that's a problem. So technically, they can be within the amount of error where we don't know who got it first.
So technically, whoever wants that accreditation has to just go and register it or get it on the,
So the crazy part is they can register with different forums. So she can go to their regional art company.
She would be the one on that platform.
Yeah, but he could do. But Trent can go to another platform and he says he's the owner. So now we're in contention.
So then maybe you both just go on your different platforms and drink your milkshake after. Then because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I think it's both. I think it's best if they both register. Just both register. And let's see who can get more money for the same item that anybody can find.
Buy each other a good Christmas gift after. You know what I mean? Like, let's just move on.
Yeah, they can do that. You have to be careful. Maybe they can earn double the money, maybe.
Yeah. Exactly. You should go in cahoots together.
But I just wonder, I guess. So yeah, they'll keep so whoever they sell the NFT to, they'll get the raw copy of the photo, which is the absolute, all the megapixels, and it's in its full resolution. They can get that actual file. Everybody else will see kind of like a blurred picture version. Okay. That's how it works, so that most people won't have like the direct copy of what they have.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I guess that could work. Yeah, both of them sell on different networks. Exactly. There you go. You both win.
Yes, win. And unfortunately, it looks like we are at that time again. They're coming to the end of our 192nd episode of WokeNFree. That's an NFT if I have heard one.
Yeah, it could be, yeah. You can say that. I told you, music, anything.
Oh, man. This was quite the episode discussing what's all the hype surrounding NFTs. Will we leave you hanging for what our next episode will be about? Drum roll, please.
In our next episode, we are discussing, would you ever get a face tattoo? Make sure you follow us on social media to follow along in the conversation. And make sure you tune in next week for WokeNFree Wednesday to join the conversation at WokeNFree.com.
If you'd like to be a guest on the show, which as you know, we are expecting our little one who happens to be a very big boy. So we are definitely not having guests over the summer. At earliest, it would be in the fall. And if you are interested in being considered, what do you have to do? You have to hit us up on our contact us page at WokeNFree.com. That is WokenFree.com. And when it comes to social media, you can always find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, LinkedIn. Hello, world. Just holler. It's so fun. And then, of course, any sponsorships or collaborations, we'd love to hear from you. Hit us up on our contact us page at WokenFree.com.
If you didn't already subscribe, please do. Share the episode, and make sure you come back to join the conversation every Wednesday for WokenFree Wednesdays. Remember, WokenFree is more than a podcast. It is a way of life. Until next time.